money story.
Yeah, the money story and the way I vibrate around it, that still needs a lot of
Share more. If
unpacking.
share, give more construct around, because if you can, sometimes we are so general. It's like you're in the vicinity. You're going somewhere, I'm around the zip code. But if you can be more specific, more precise, solution can land better. So try. I'll give you time. Try and process internally what you mean by money stories.
So there's a path that recognizes money, wealth is an idea.
Okay.
And there's the other path that is constantly looking at the account and like, those things don't match.
What doesn't matter? I'm going to make you expand. This is not summarize. Expand. What doesn't matter?
The feeling one gets when one looks at the account, speaking of me, and feeling that you don't have enough based on the numbers.
Okay.
And then knowing, being consciously aware that there's so much more that is already within, but hasn't been unpacked yet. And what's on the account is not a reflection of who I am, but the feeling is just not.
Okay. So what you're explaining, this is why it's important to unpack. You are stuck on a story and you are in a loop. You need to find a way out.
Yes.
You are attached to a story that is going merry-go-round when it comes to money. You look, you're like, but then you go, but I know I can make much. And then you look again, you're like, ooh, and then you're like, I have capacity. Then you look again. So you are in a story that is a loop. You have to exit that story and you have to create and manifest a new story. You need a new story. The old story is in a loop. It's not creating. That story is not it's not creating a new reality. So you need to clean that story, the old story. You need to create a new story. So let's test this out. In the future, what do you want?
What do I want? General.
Specific.
What do I want? Specific. I want to be in a place where my production is tied to my creativity and not tied to my time. To uncouple what is earned from my time and producing and doing things from.
Let me help you. Let me help you. Take a step back. You are producing a new story still based on a narrative of your own efforts. This is about desire. This is about you desire something before you figure out how to create the desire. You're already trying to solve. I'm just saying, what do you want? What do you want is this blank check that God gives all of us. Ask and you shall receive. Don't figure out how to receive first. This is like you are submitting a request. What is your heart's desire? If you tie that request to what you think is possible, then you are the one that will still be making it possible. But this is the secret of spirituality. When you ask something that is impossible, that even yourself, you're just daydreaming, you're just trusting God. When you submit the request, you know what happens? The download you will get back is the instruction on how the request will be fulfilled, which you don't know right now. Many times, People only ask for what they can manufacture within the construct of their own consciousness, their current state. If you ask for money based on the current skills you have, you don't grow past who you are, and you only produce the money your current person can create, which is the loop. If you think about money only through who you are today, you are missing the growth track that will produce who will be able to produce bigger amounts of wealth. So a lot of times, spirituality is understanding how big your God is, going to him with a big desire, something that will just make you happy. It's not about you being responsible for making it happen. Your own assignment will still come. You understand? But don't give yourself assignments. Dream big. Submit it to God. When God approves, this is when now obedience comes in. If your father say, ask of me, what do you want? Ask based on your God, not you, because you will still change. You will still change to receive a big blessing, because the person that you are now, it is what you asked for in the past that you are living in now. Your income level today was based on your school, whatever construct, you understand? Current financial construct is based on what you asked when you were younger. Who do you want to be? I want to be this. Which school do you want to go? You picked something, and that something you picked was tied to an income bracket, which you are in now. But now you want more. You have to throw a bigger desire. Right? Just that, how many years ago did you dream of the life you're living now? Your younger self constructed your current life. That's why I always talk about your inner child. At what the dream of your younger self is what you are living now. When you look into your future, if you don't want to carry this into the future, the current you will have to take a step back and do the same thing your younger self did. Imagination. The younger self could not produce because that younger self hadn't gone to school. Well, hadn't gotten, right? Your younger self was like, who do you want to be? And that younger self was like, oh, I will study this, I will study that, I will be this, I will be that. You became it. The younger self did not imagine what the younger self could produce. The younger self imagined what it desired of the future within a construct of options that the younger self was exposed to. I'm saying that is the process of manifestation, of going on a journey to become greater, to step into higher, so that you can achieve great, right? The younger self that decided probably didn't even was making money, wasn't even making money, but it was I will get this job, I'll get that job, and I will do this, right? I'm saying the process is still the same. How big can you dream without including constraints based on your current self? Don't use what you know right now. Don't put any bound. Literally, listen, what I'm working on now, I didn't go to school for. You see my point? There are natural spiritual gifts that God can unpack, new insight that you don't even know they exist right now. You know what you know, but the things you do not know, that's the one I'm saying people should be cautioned, should be careful on. So when this type of questions of what do you want, think of it as desire. And Bible says the desires of the righteous shall not be cut short. So you too, don't be making your desire small because of whatever inner narrative you have. Create desire based on your God, on God's ability to bless you, not your own ability to do things, because they are two different productivity. You can go and do whatever you can do right now, but when you want what God can do in and through you, you submit your request, and then you believe that God has answered your prayer, and in that moment you activate desire, belief. In that moment, spirituality, manifestation kicks in. Everything that is required to arrive where God has approved for you. That is manifestation. Then instruction will be coming. Do this, take this class, go here. Synchronicity. You'll be connecting with people. You are going to embark on a journey of becoming, of receiving, of growing into the person that will vibrate at the frequency of that desire. So, for example, if desire is on step 56 of a journey, if you are still on step 20, it means you have to keep stepping, keep going until you reach step 56. If you are on step 20 and people don't grow past step 20, all they will see on level 20 is what they can access with level 20, let's just say version 20 of themselves. So, but think about it. God has put a lot of gems and a lot of gifts and a lot of growth on every step of everybody's journey. You're supposed to be collecting. It's like game. Level 1 collects gems. Level 2 collect gems. Level 3. But if there are 76 levels, but people are still on level 20, you can only collect the gems, the blessings of the level you're on. So if you say, God, I want more, well, step forward, grow, you will see more things. Grow again, you will see more things. God has layered on blessings at each level of growth of everybody. So the key is continue on your journey to grow and ascend. You will start seeing more of yourself, of the world, and what God has pre-planned that will be given to you if you arrive at level, right? That's one of the secrets of ascension. There are beautiful things, lovely things that has been pre-planned for everybody's growth journey, but they will only experience it when they step into that zone. People on level 20 cannot access level 96, and you will see other people on their step 96 building mansions, making money, right? But look at the journey. Or other people, they stood on giants of their predecessors. So they threw them with money. They threw them into step 50. So they are starting off step 50 of wealth. Some people are like step 1, but everybody keeps going though. So the question of what do you want, now that I've explained it, you may not even need to share it publicly. Do this work privately, and you'll be amazed that God has already put that great picture inside you. He's the one that wants you to will his will. The greatest picture of who you could be is already inside everybody. Your promises, your glory, your greatness, the fruits, the mango fruits. There's already, if the mango fruit, right, if the mango seed is planted, the potentiality, we know what a mango tree looks like. And we know mango tree in the harvest bountiful season, there are more mangoes. Mango choppers. So a mango seed inside has potentiality to produce tree, tons of mangoes, and each mango also has potentiality of a seed, the never-ending promises of God of abundant life. But we also know, though, there's a process. The mango can be saying there's mango tree. Yes, but are you ready to be planted? Who's going to water the mango? Every idea God gives people is pregnant with destiny. It will arrive. The picture of what it will be in the future is part of the idea. That's why people start, right? You have to see the end from the beginning. Now, the beginning of planting a mango. And when will the mango tree, gestational period, how long will it take for the mango tree? What you have to do with that mango seed, for it to now yield what it is carrying? That's the work. That's the labor. That's the investment. And people can hold mango. Listen, there's something spiritual. You pray. I want this. If you say, I want mangoes, I want a harvest mango, what will God do? Here is your mango seed. Come plant it and do the work. The world you are living in, already has all the equipment, instruments of multiplying, except a grain of sand falls to the ground and die, and then to yield the life inside it. It's a process that you didn't design. God will give mango seed. He has already put in place what multiplies mango, the process that would yield what is right, that would release life force inside the man. God has already put that in place. It's like man and woman. You want baby, yeah, you will do what you need to do. You pray. If you pray, the process that produces what you are praying for, that's the one you're supposed to be focused on. You see? Do you understand? You want money. Oh Lord, money. Well, the process that will produce money, that's what you're supposed to be learning. To people who want to think it's not magical. Money is not magical. Money is paper. It's printed. We know where it's printed. You need to learn how it's like water. It's a thing that you can see, and it has source, it has flow, it has movement. There are things you do. Like money is a thing. It's not magical. It flows and behaves a certain way, and it flows in a particular direction. If you want more of it, study to show yourself approved. You want to be a doctor? Well, you study what a doctor needs to know to function. So I make this thing very, very practical. Spiritual people who are not practical, listen, we are in practical season. This third dimension has been designed to function a certain way. You want harvest? Well, find seed. God gives seed to the sower. Are you a sower? I'm expanding what we are talking about to a bigger picture, right? This is where the longer people pray, but God has put process. He knew that multiplication was part of the blessing. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it. It's part of God's blessing. So God has put everything required for him to demand that you be fruitful and multiply. It is because Bible says he has given you everything you need for life and godliness. So we are supposed to learn how to work the system. We are supposed to learn how the systems of multiplication works, how the system of fruitfulness works, how the system of replenishing the earth, distributing your ideas. You need to learn how it works. You need to learn when Bible says subdue. What are you subduing? Take over, take charge, be in charge. You need to learn the skills that you to take charge. There's a journey. Fruitfulness is not the same thing as taking charge. It is an ascension. This is the spiritual ascension. This is the growth path God in heaven has given man and blessed man. And for him to bless man, it means not just that it is possible, it means it has been done for you. Do it. God will not tell you to do something. There's no impossibility. When God says, be fruitful, multiply, it means this is the expectation that God has for his creation. That man multiply, that man be fruitful, that man take over, that man subdue the earth, take over. This is an expectation. It's a mandate. It is a mandate. It is official. This is your responsibility. This is why you are here. Start your journey, right? And so our job is to be learning how to be fruitful, right? Our journey, if you are going to obey God, our journey is to be learning the process, knowing that God has put things in place to support you, right? When God gives a word, great are the company of those who publish it. Means if you carry a message that God has downloaded, a responsibility, an idea that God has given you, the idea will not be released if the idea is not possible. Everything is possible because when God gives a word, it's done. The word would yield and make God's word manifest. So anybody that carries the vision of heaven will gain provision, but you have to obey and follow the process. There's always a process. I know I just expanded that. So expand your ask. And as you're expanding your ask, it means you must make room inside yourself to receive it, to become it, to welcome it, to produce it. You produce, you sow, you reap. So there's no, when I say there's no lazy Christian. And Bible says, according to the power of God in you. So even your ask, your will, is how much of God's power are you ready to exercise and exert upon the earth? Which is tied to who do you want to be? What do you want to command? So there is personal growth into it as well. So you see what I just did? You don't have to, now that I've explained that, you might probably want to think more, process more, hold more paper, right? But let me give you a chance to say, like, what say you now that I'm giving that framework?
Not that you've given the framework, it's more, and you're right in the sense of what you explained, because my asking has always been based on what things I can actually produce, and this is kind of like not even putting in the God factor, and what you're saying and what I'm getting, what I'm understanding, and what I know for a fact. Because it's some things that we know with the heart is asking things that your spirit already knows. This is what you're meant to do. This is what you're called to do. Mm-hmm. And because it's so big and you can't even tell how to, goodness, I won't say it, but you have to become somebody else.
Yes.
And is that becoming someone else that is the scary part? And you have to say goodbye to the old.
Even language, let's be careful language. Please understand where you are right now. Another thing may even be, maybe you've not even explored all that is possible within your current self. You see, for example, employee growth track. Many employees may not even explore the highest possibility of employees. Right? They may want to jump into entrepreneurship and leap into another career path. But even as an employee, you can still continue to grow and ascend to vice president, senior vice president, vice VP, or even ascribe to CEO position if you have that desire. Right? Right? People ought to know you can stay with one employer and continue to ascend and do the work required and gain communication skills and grow yourself and seek promotional opportunities and keep growing your income bracket. You can be a wealth builder still being an employee. I'm very, very clear with this stuff. You can invest in executive coaching and learn how to do presentational skills and do more collaboration and communication. The skills that will help you listen, the technical skills that will help you get a job is different from the skills that will help you become function as a vice president, right? Executive, do what is required leadership-wise. So people can still grow and make very fantastic, correct money. I see that. Listen, we look at the sometimes I don't say a lot of things, right? The bonus brackets, packages, how we compensate executives, we approve it at the board level. There's good money. People become millionaires in employee part. But many people, if you are not exposed to it, they don't even know that there are some things you can do. You get into the executive ranking. Listen, it's the skills are different. However, wealth is being shared. Assets, shares, options. The conversation is different. The money you've not seen, you will see it when you enter some ranks. In employee path, you can adopt a wealth creation mentality. You can invest in yourself such that it's not technical skills, it's spiritual leadership. You will care for people, the productivity of other people. You will develop skills that it's not just about your own productivity. Can you unlock the productivity of other people? Do you care about other people? There are different things we look at the executive level. In fact, we have executive training programs to also invest in executives so that they're continuing to grow themselves, because their productivity now is not just them, They have to grow other people. And other people's productivity must be expanded. So they have to grow so that the people by their leading grows. The conversation at the highest level, board level, we are not just, it's a different, but I'm trying to also communicate that many people who are employees don't, is it that, for me now, I'm like, is it that they're not asking questions, they're not exposing themselves, they're not listening to other people, they're not investing in themselves, they're not showing up to conferences, they're not taking classes, right? And just so you know, I'll just give this free service announcement. Rarely will people get into executive stage without some form of coach guidance training. You don't stumble into those places. You don't. And so people who think, listen, if people do what God wants them to do and prepare, then God will orchestrate the chance for those public display. David's private growth, lion, sandy bear, God can do a setup. He can set you up where the only solution to that setup is you. That's what one of the things God does. Joseph was a setup too. When the prophet, the leader of the Egyptians started dreaming, who can answer and turn this dream around? It was traced back to Joseph. It's a setup. But if Joseph did not perfect his skills, God sets people that obey him up. If you are willing and obedient, then you eat the good of the land. So the ultimate reward for obedience to God is the final setup where it's public display and you ascend. But many people are waiting, praying, oh Lord, lift me up. Listen, if you pray, lift me up, give me money. Oh, I want money. Please add on to it. I will obey you, Lord. So yes, you can be a wealth-oriented person and ascend in the corporate world and build correct wealth, money, good money, like real good money. But there's also another path. If it's not just that, you want to build a business, generational wealth, so you want to use your time, energy, resources to build an asset class in a certain way that holds value and produces cash flow. That's another assignment. So even the money people are looking for, there are different ways. There are different economic activities that can produce wealth and money. It's an economic activity. Yes, you want to participate in the commercial market a certain way. Employee, employer, you can go, right? There are many economic activities. You have to be part of economic activity to be talking about money, because the people who print money, government, they release money to support transactions, commercial transactions within the economy. When you say GDP, all these things, demand and supply, what is being measured is economic activities, productivity of people, and the exchange of goods and services. Who is supporting, right? That is, money is an instrument, intermediary value exchange. Whenever people want to exchange the things they've built, the things they own, time, energy, resources, when they want to exchange it with one another, that's when money shows up. Money is used to access demand and supply, right? You're on one side. Those who have demand use money to access what suppliers produce. And so suppliers invest to produce what they will sell and transact and exchange for money. So people need to understand, Christians need to understand, money carries utility. It is used. It is a thing that is used, right? When there's a transaction, when values are being exchanged, money is the tool that allows value. So if you are not exchanging anything, you're not part of the commercial activities that allows the flow of money. Money flows from the hand of of the buyer to the hand of the seller in the commercial center. And then in the philanthropic world, those who have gathered it, you can give it away. They won't even ask for anything in return. They just generosity. That's another direct, but the direction of flow now is generous people who have a lot. You give it away, right? So it's a outflow. It's not commercial. It is philanthropic. The good art of people who carry a lot of it will look and say, there's a need in the world. Here you go. Donate, donate, donate. But the gathering of money, so that is outflow, giving of money. But the gathering of money is transactional. There's also another word in the investment circle, multiplication of money. It follows another rule. Where you put money in ground that you believe will multiply it. Now it's no longer your effort. You're putting your money to work. You are using your money. You are using money to make more money. Commercial markets, stock. You are observing commercial activities, and you are looking at companies and their productivity, their personality, their character, their vision, their mission, and you are assessing based on your knowledge of the market and how it behaves, which company has the potentiality to yield returns for your money. And then the companies that are also listed, we do everything we are doing is for the shareholder. We are in the service of our shareholder. What would our shareholders think? We are publishing information, say, hey, listen, this is who we are, this is what we're working on, right? And so shareholders will look at it, evaluate our activities, bottom line, all of the things, we give them, and then they'll say, should I keep pumping money or should I move my money? It's their own decision, but we position ourselves as best as possible to say, hey, listen, bank with us. It's commercial, it's an interesting function. They could have put that money in the bank, but they are putting it into commercial activities. They are funding the productivity of the economy versus putting the money in the bank to sit there. Is there money they can put, you can put, right? But in return, the bank will give you versus the market activities. How the yield, how your money will grow quickly in the stock market versus if you put your money in the bank and the moment, what will bank say, right? So people do mix. So there's also portfolio. Some people will put small in the bank, safety net, insured, and then they will be playing with some. Not playing, you get my, this when I say play, there's a lot of intelligence stuff in it, right? It's also knowledge. There's also different things, private equity, listen, I sit in rooms where all the types of money-making stakeholders are there. This one is private equity, this one is this, this one is this, this one is this, this one is this, and they're all carrying their money back. I'm playing, not playing, I'm using, when I say play, listen, at the highest level, there's a lot of fun to it. In fact, when you lighten up, you're going to make more money emotionally. But if you're like, it doesn't flow, nobody wants to, right? The more lighter you are, the more jovial you are, the more friendly you are, the more collaborative, the more you don't take money seriously, the more money you can handle flow. It will be easier. But people who are tight, why? Go and deal with your emotional stuff. Go and deal with it. Go and do your inner work. Go and talk to your whoever, right? Because at that top, everybody's playful. Because play, fun, positivity is attractive to the people that will, right? Everybody will even say, let's call that guy, we'll make this money, he will bring us more, right? You have to be. I just put all of that because when I'm coaching and saying, do this work, when I now come to, okay, so guys, level up, I'm like, who didn't break this news to people? Who didn't tell people? Anyway, so let me just, it's okay. You understand? When I also teach on government too is looking for money. When I coach, work with government, like what's today? Yeah. See, last Friday. I was invited to do some See, my business now. I don't put, I tend not to, I don't mix, there's this work, come and coach, do your inner work. But that's why I share that when I'm done with this, when I close this, I move on to the next thing. But let me just give you some insight. It's like there are conversations. I was invited to be a guest. Oh, this Saturday too, I'm doing, this one is more, day to day, you see me. In fact, this morning, you may not know where I was before. I've done a few things today, stock market, right? But you have capacity, grow it. You're going to live a free life. So anyway, this past Friday, I was a guest. And part of it was really advising a group of, let's say, commercial actors, producers in a nation. I won't put too much info. However, the person who invited me some years ago was served the presidency. So that's where the connection, right? He served the presidency at the presidential level, presidential cabinets appointee kind thing. It was when he was presidential appointee kind. That's when I engaged, we did some things together, right? And so fast forward now, presidents come, presidents go, they appoint new people. Yes. So now he has a different function. So he invited me to advise some community producers that is nurturing. Now at the state level, government too. And so I was serving that state level, private sector, commercial actors. You see, I'm not saying everything, I'm just using keywords, advising them, pumping them up to the potentiality of expanding exports nationally. That's another conversation. Productivity. We're talking about, every nation that grows on exports. However, the commercial actors that will do the productivity, they are private sector players. However, it has growth on the wealth of nations, of states. And I was telling them, listen, there are some things you can, right? This kind of effect, government and private sector must work together. And I was telling them, government, your government will do some things, you will do some things. There are some things that it will be so much work for you. You need to be tagging on with your government. So that kind of conversation is going on behind the scene. So that's Friday. This next Saturday now, it's another, this one is different. You see me jump to faith-based. Oh, before you say I do. I'll be on the panel. Before you say I do, okay. I have perspective opinion. I will lend it to. So that's why you see different platforms. But when I'm on one platform, I will say, coach, coach, I will go to whatever level you guys need. I will go. When I go to stock market, I've done stock markets this month. Yes, our shareholder. Oh, this is these millions, I will be there. I will lend my perspective. When I'm here, I'll do it. When I'm there, I'm just trying to say, when God wants you to invest in you based on who he wants you to be and how he wants you to function and the value of his message he wants you to broadcast to whatever levels he wants to use you, it is in your hands how you prepare to be used. That is on you. God can call you, but to use you, there is a process you must go through to be found relevant and useful in the capacity God wants to use you. So God has the vision. Who is going to say yes? Mary, you found favor. Angel still went to Mary. Mary, you found favor. Mary still has to say yes. And she said, be it unto me. But you also know the journey she had to go on of obedience. That's the practicality of they who know their God will do exploits. You must know your God enough to be able to do certain things upon the earth because you need God's backing. All these things that I'm saying is not in the right. God is, when God says I should teach, if I'm not teaching, you will never understand the back end. When I say back end support, I wouldn't explain, right? I don't tell, like, I don't have to tell anybody. You just see the results out there. However, God is saying, okay, Toyi, create school, put programs in place, so you start teaching. Well, the key is for anybody that even steps into any of my spaces, it means there's a great destiny, there's greatness upon that person. Because I'm not, this is not milk, this is meat. Okay, Miss Chizo, you see, we just went there now. And I think the reason I'm going there is, I think the reason this conversation went this way is because this morning, the first meeting I had this morning, already, I already started the day on a path. So you guys are just enjoying the, when you go, I'm like, you now have to come and right? So already, the first meeting I had this morning is, listen, money people, like you know what I'm saying? I just, my peers and the right. So you start the day on that, and so when I came here now, you can see that the way I'm talking is different. Usually, I would have worked that out of my system, and so when I come here, I come to play. I'm like, okay, I meet you where you are. But because I'm still just, it's back to back, I'm like, I'm coming from, that zone of real stuff, the stuff. And I think the spillover is why I'm talking this way now. So you can see a different aspects, a different side of me in the way I'm speaking, because it's kind of like back to back. But if it's not back to back, I wake up, I come here, I'm like, the conversation will be different. But that one already pumped me up. Anyway, so you are enjoying some form of that performance level. Is still it wears out eventually. Not that it wears out, is that I don't bring it when I'm engaging people on a different platform.
Thank you, Coach, for sharing the energy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. That vibe is different. That vibe is.
But I thank you, because I kind of feel you went into a little bit of money. A little bit about
because I just left money. All we were saying in that place is everybody's collecting money. Everybody's putting money. Like, I just left and that's what I'm trying to say. I just left conversation of money, investments, budgeting, millions of dollars. Right? Are we going the right direction? This is multi-million-dollar conversations, right? It's at the highest level. Which I just left the money conversation, and I came here now. That's what I'm saying. Go on, please.
So this is just kind of like linking this back to what today's topic is: becoming a free individual. There's no way any individual can really be free if their time is still tied to making money. That's why I was just thinking out aloud about that. But you really unpacked a bit as far as the question, what do I really want? So that's something.
Yeah.
I have an idea of what it is, not just an idea. I have a sense of what I want, but that is just needs more clarity and just expansion with God. And I would let go so that others can also speak. And thank you so much, Coach.
Yeah, and thank you. And I'm glad you guys allowed me to explain, because even you saw the energy, the way I was like, oh, wait a minute, let's come back to, oh, how are you? Because literally the conversation we are coming from it's just a different atmosphere, and again, I'm part of that, and so the version of me that shows up there's a lot of, they're presenting, this is what we're doing, and you have to, it's the highest level of corporate America oversight, like corporate oversight, and I just literally did that and came here, so I can tell that I brought some of that into you asked it, even the way I was asking you, what do you want? I was like, leave these people alone though. I'm like, you understand? I just left one atmosphere and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I need to clean up that so that we come back to coaching. money. I just took you to money market, GDP, shareholder. I'm like, oh, Toyin, you've left that room. Come back. So you can just tell that like you said, the energy I brought was, oh Lord, it's okay. If I'm in the kitchen baking cake, doing things, I'll be laughing. You see, I live like that. Is that being present in the moment is the key. And I realize that a lot of times when I come doing coaching, I'm like, do people even realize? In a way, this is when, Paul will say, do you even know? Some people say, do you know who I am? But I don't do that. I just serve. I serve people where they are, and I move on. I don't try to load anybody on, right? I don't do coaching to say, look at me. Listen, I am who I know who I, right? This is where secure. If you are the things you are secure in, it's not a conversation. But people who carry insecurities, they will make it, they will have to, they will paint a picture so that, but I'm not, I'm not even, in fact, I am so compartmentalized in those areas that I don't even try to tell anybody this. If not for this conversation, this context now. I just went to, last week, governmental this. Did I share it before? No. I don't have to, but the conversation from, I wish if they had a video and you watched the recording, you will not even know it is me. The toughness, the fierceness, the challenge, the way I spoke to them, they sent me maybe 3-4 paragraphs of thank you. Just so you know, when I'm operating at that level, the one on Friday, they sent me long, because it's a lot of, it's a different, listen, it's as an authority figure. I'm not coaching nobody. I'm speaking as an authority figure, engaging in government, private sector, partnership for productivity, right? When I speak in that place, it's like vibration, like, hey, guys, get things to like, in this nation, we are the private, largest private investor. This is what are we doing? It's you, right? Those of you in my private coaching program, if you watch that video presentation as an authority figure and the engagement and the Q&A, it's not, you will be like, is this the same Coach Toyin? You realize that no, it's a different platform. The engagement is different. The size of me I present is not personal, it's authoritative. They can't access me. I'm not right. So the way it's a different, right? So this coaching program, there's a lot more access, intimacy, private, like fun. You are experiencing the fun side of me because, Jesus will say, I call you friend. He's still God though, but Jesus will say, disciples, Mary, let all children come unto me. So I operate that way. But you can tell now I'm trying to move myself into the topic of the day. I'm trying to bring myself back into the construct of this program. I've learned a lesson now. Maybe I'll watch how I do my back-to-back, or what days I do this, what days, right? Because it's spilling over. But I'm catching myself. So thank you. I just put my business out there. Okay, who was the second person that came in? I've seen who is next? Was it Miss Bev? I apologize, guys. I wasn't keeping track of, but let's yield to Miracle and then we'll go to Miss Beverly and then Miss Sheila. I'm sorry. Usually I try to yield to based on the sequence of you guys coming up. But Miracle, go ahead. Okay, let me see the chat. Somebody helping me there. Due to the noise in the background, I have to wait. Okay, no worry. Okay, Miss Beverly. Okay, good. Okay, Miracle. I think yesterday I put a spotlight on you and I challenged you a lot. You slept over that. How are you feeling this morning?
Yeah, yes, I feel good, Coach.
Okay.
I was able to make a very important step for me today, and it was something that I was, maybe would like to say, avoiding for a while because I was still struggling with the individuation. I know you even mentioned this before because I brought this up where I was talking about the business partnership with a former old vibration friend. And I was able to explain to her that that person, I'm no longer available for that anymore. And
oh, you spoke directly to the person?
Oh yes, I did.
Okay.
I did. I called her over the phone to say, look, our timelines are different, and I hope you understand, but this will not work the way we planned for it to work. And before now, I had actually heard her mom in the quantum speaking. When I was taking my retreat, I heard her, saying, if you knew you would do this, then why didn't you tell my daughter to also do this? And yes, and their relationship is such that once I've told her anything, it's 5 minutes for her whole family to hear. So it doesn't take time. Everybody has heard everything already. So I just had to go and, cleanse my quantum, to also repent, because I feel like I led her on. I should have let it go from the beginning. At the beginning, I felt some resistance, but I thought, she also thought, like, I know you've done partnership before, it didn't work out, but don't worry, I'm not like them. But then I didn't understand that that was not the reason. It was not the fear of, oh, will you betray me or not? That wasn't it. I just knew that something was not adding up. But I didn't know what the thing was until it became clear that, okay, this cannot work in this way anymore. So I even had to thank her, appreciate her, for being amazing, for even thinking, you're a good person to do business with you. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry that I let you drag on, for this long. If I had let you go, you would have been able to find your way and find your footing all this while. So I just think you should go ahead and do your thing by yourself. Don't worry about me. But I take a bow, and this is where our business journey, and in my mind, friendship journey too, comes to an end. So, she took it well in the physical, in the third dimension, she took it well. But since that move, I'm just like, okay, you are really now becoming your own person. You're able to have these conversations that with, if there was a time when I started hearing what you were saying, I started negotiating with God. I'm like, oh God, this one she's not bad. Please, and all of that. Because I'm like, she's kind and all of those kind of stuff. But that day you gave me hot, and I had to go back and think about it and say, okay, you have been nice and you've kept nice people around you, and all of you have been down in your low vibration. What will you do differently for this new phase that God is calling you to? So I'm just glad that I was able to even do that, to walk up the courage.
You guys are like, hey, you're making moves. And that's how it's supposed to be. But when we don't tell ourselves the truth or tell other people the truth, people get entangled, dragged around, and they can't move. They can't carry. There are some places God wants to take you. You can't drag people along. You can love them, which is why I always advise, be as nice as possible with your words, thoughts, but be fierce with the direction God is leading you. And you know what happens? When you do it God's way, the peace that surpasses understanding will wash over you. You'll be like, because if you do it the other way, right? But if you do it, you walk away with peace. That you've done from your side of the tennis match, you've done as best as you can. And then you leave the other side for them. Because part of what I'm going to teach today is that people who don't individuate, they carry the ego of other people. And what is inside that ego is the stuff. What would they say if I do this? What would they say if I do that? And you are downloading their energy. Because the moment you open yourself and you make somebody else more important, automatically you're living in a system that will download their negotiator. So literally, you know how they think. How do you know how other people think? How do you know what they will say? Because inside you, their energy enters, and they will be those energy will be negotiating on their behalf. You'll be having a conversation with them inside your quantum. So it's either you have conversation in the natural third dimension, mouth to vibe. When people don't learn communication skills, you say, right? When people don't mature and say what they mean and mean what they say, because it takes courage and confidence and skill to be able to weave words and make sure it lands and it carries. There's more work, there's more emotional maturity to use words to talk to other people. When people don't mature to confront in the natural world and speak and be, right? All the other conversation is in the quantum. You'll be hearing it and you'll be down. In your own room, you'll be negotiating and speaking to people that are not physically there. So the stuff that is inside, when you finish saying this, he heard everything you say, to go and report your own thoughts, your conclusion. It will travel through the energetic highway. It will go inside them. They too will be talking to the stuff. That one too will be reporting what you were thinking, what you were saying. Just as you are hearing them, they are hearing you too. So people who are not emotionally mature, they use the invisible world to be transferring information. But if it is not peace, it is funky stuff that is activating, agitating, and so people inside, until you settle with those matter or kick those things out and then come out into the third dimension and speak with authority. Many people are already taking, like, inside them is like, they want to do this. It's like chess. That thing will say, no, the stuff, the representative that is carrying the thoughts and inside of those people. They are inside the people who are in codependent relationship, who are carrying their ego. Anybody that you are carrying their ego, you know what you're also carrying? You are carrying their chief negotiating architect, a copy of their stuff. That's how spiritually interesting this thing is. Anybody you say you care how they think, and you activate open door negative, your cells will carry their pattern of thinking, a copy of their pattern of thinking. And so when you're thinking about them, you're having a conversation inside yourself with their representative. The most mature thing you can ever say is to close that door and come into the natural. The submarine must come out. Stop that inner conversations that you don't even know what you are talking to, that is doing all those things. You require that, send it out. And then the submarine, you have to then come out in the third dimension and have that kind of conversation. That's where your freedom is. So that there's no assumption, there's no misinterpretation. And from that day you talk to them, do you know what? You've just taken authority back. Your body now knows everything you said. Their own system knows everything you've said. You're free. If you hear anything else in the quantum, in fact, your mind will not even download much because you've taken care of business, you close the chapter, you've moved on. But most people stay. What would I say? What do they do? He. They never talk. They drag it on. They keep dragging it on. They keep dragging it on. Why? Because their internal consultant has said, listen, you are the hook. It keeps the entanglements, enmeshments. It drags it on. Why? Because from today now, you know what happened? Their stuff has no space in you anymore. Cannot negotiate because you've taken care. You've spoken to say bye. And because you did it in the natural, the spiritual will respect and honor that. Now, how they now handle it, that memo can come to you, but you will still have to, anyway, let me just, does that make sense, Miracle? This is where you take authority in the natural.
Yes, Coach, you want to say something before you change your mind?
Everybody wants to. You can tell now, these days, you people will say, don't keep it. My point, or let me say this. Let's say you've had a conversation, you've taken a stand. You've communicated your stand. You know, they know. atmosphere knows you've changed you've updated the spiritual transaction, the assumption, you've cleaned it up. They must still process everything you said. Now it's up to their own maturity to respect your voice and take it as authority and back off. That's what I would expect. But funky people exist. Their advisors may come up with another story. Right? Because this is when you will know who really respects you. When people don't have their way with people. When you take a stand and you individuate. Because the implication of what you just did, it has spiritual implication. The cord that tied you to this person, you have broken it on your side. That stuff that you were funding before, what tied you together, it can become an advisor to them. They may come back and say, we hear you, we hear you. However, what do we need to do to still make something work? Those are the people that don't respect no. If they respect your no, they will stay away. They'll go and find somebody else to attach to, and they'll move on with their life. If what they are carrying really, really likes you, I'm using likes, like entanglements, these things you chase, when you chase one, Bible tells you, right? The reason I'm saying chase is that enmeshment, entanglement is always backed by negative forces. It's not natural. Bond of peace is where, when God puts people together and those people are working in peace, nobody's entangled. Everybody, you are thinking positively about each other. Whenever something goes, usually that sound, that's where the funky stuff likes to live in offense, jealousy, envy, all the dysregulated, this person did it, all those negative conversations of anything that God doesn't have his hand in. That atmosphere invites stuff. That's what I mean. I'm not saying it's always there. I'm just saying, generally speaking, if you don't have bond of peace with an individual where both parties individuate, respect, listen, right? Where somebody is not controlling, emotional control, or spiritual control, or intellectual control, right? When there is bond of peace, you are happy. God made that happen. There's respect, there's mutual love. Nobody is dominating, nobody's, right? Nobody's using each other in the wrong way. But whenever the connection is not positive and it's funky, when you want to detach, you are literally sending, you're breaking energetic cord. I'm saying if it is funky and the submarine, what was enjoying that time? You remember I said submarine is invisible in the subconscious. When you break it from your side and you stop feeding it energy, the submarine tends to rise up and start saying, gas, I need more gas. Who is going to gas, right? And so the bearer now on their side, if they have the skill of handling their own stuff and turning away, right, they will respect you and leave you alone. If they are not emotionally mature, spiritually mature, they will have to handle the emotional implication of the conversation you had, and how they handle it will display their own maturity. And I'm also saying, don't make assumption that they have the skills to handle it with peace, because next time you see them now, if they go, you think you're better than me. I thought I was the one doing you favor. Whenever you understand, when people are not immature, the conversation was simple, it was peaceful from your own side, but their own side, whatever they are dealing with, their own personality, their own stuff, how they will handle it, handle you, their own maturity, watch out for that. But again, you set yourself free, because there are people who don't handle this kind of thing positively, but that's not your issue. It is their own personality they have to wrestle with and handle. Do you understand? Watch out for the next time you see them. If they are mature, they'll say, hi. they'll greet you very well and move on. If they are not mature, they might even turn around and walk away. But that's their own personality on display. Make sense?
Yes, coach. Thanks.
Okay, good. The way you actually know real people is after such a frank conversation, who they become, if they still like you, if they still extend kindness to you, then they are good people. They are really, 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 really good people. If people can still love genuinely with their heart, even when they don't have their way, listen, those people are resilient. They are mature. That's maturity. Maturity at the spiritual maturity at the highest level comes with your ability to forgive, your ability to release what's not yours, your ability to hold space for positivity, your ability to believe positive about anybody, even if you watch them go this way, you will still hold positive space. And parents are supposed to teach this. Right? Parents are supposed to hold a spiritually mature place that when milk are being spilled, messy things are going on, parents are supposed to say, it's okay, I'll clean it up. Spiritual maturity is you will clean it up. Whoever is greatest among you, let him serve. Part of service is cleaning up other people's mess. Spiritually. Anyway, I just wove that in. So, Miracle, on point? Yes?
Yes, coach, on point. Thank you.
On point. Okay, Sheila, let me bring you back. And then Miss Beverly, if you want to type again, that's fine. Team, I sent you an invitation if you want to come up. Miss Sheila, please go ahead. I see you there, bro. Okay, dropped again. Okay, and then we go back, after that, we go to the notes. Miss Sheila, okay, is this working now? Oh, it's dropping. I'm seeing it go up and down. Do you want to type? But it's always good to hear you. You have a very unique laughter. It's good. Okay. Now it's not sure. My side is clocking now. I've clicked invitations at least 2-3 times. Guys, let me refresh this page. Okay, it's clocking now. I'll just refresh. I think it will reload everybody back in the system we're using. Let me just click. It's refreshed from my side now. Okay, good. Now I can see all the chats. Okay, good. You know that, still thinking back to the earlier stage, I tried to compartmentalize many dimensions of me. So if you are not in some of this conversation, that conversation, people only see that dimension based on the ones they're experiencing. Okay, Michelle, finally, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so for me, I'm excited about today because the last two sessions, like I said, they were my breakthrough sessions. So, because for a long time I've been wondering, have I been like wandering in the wilderness for all these years? What is going on? But then I just finally clicked that I have been building the foundation. Everybody's foundation is different. And everybody's journey is different because, I've been doing stuff, but I haven't, nobody can see, but God is working something. I know what I know. So that has been great. So thank you so much, Coach.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Part of this victory is learning speaking, the power of your own words. because when people don't process their thoughts, process their emotions, discern what they really want and separate it from what other people want, people are not able to gather themselves and move forward in life. But I'll talk a little bit about that aspect of the power of emotional processing. It's going to produce many things. Part of it is your commanding communication, because internal communication produces external communication. How you talk to yourself internally, you see, is how you're going to talk to the outside world. And when people don't have a healthy inner narratives, inner self-talk, the tendency is most people will keep quiet because they don't trust what's going to come out of their mouth. Because out of the abundance of the heart, mouth to speak, is that the energy is running inside you, carrying information inside you, the storytellers of your inner dimension. When you open your mouth, they will all speak, because that's all they are gathering. They are gathering, everything wants to jump out and speak. And so when people know that their inner dimension is not clean, well, clean it first. Because if it is clean, your job is to be commanding and negotiating. And so a lot of times, people speak out of the abundance of their mouth, but when people speak, when you speak and you hear yourself speak, you're like, where did that come from? Well, inside you, preloaded. That's where processing your inner thoughts, inner emotions, when you bring it to a place of peace and joy and fulfillment, you can share it with the world. And when you share it with the world will share with you. The energy you use to engage with the world, what you sow, you get. Because this is where wealth is the same thing. The only people that build wealth are people who can command thoughts, words, and share it with the world and invite the world to come and be with them. Okay, team, thanks for sharing that. You're going to talk. If you're going to build wealth, you will talk. Like, that's your command center. Your command center is words, thoughts. That's it. That's where your wealth is. No matter what you build technically, somebody's still going to sell it. Somebody's still going to put words to invite, right? You're still going to communicate it with other people. Anybody that cannot communicate or doesn't want to talk to other people, then how are you going to invite other people? You engage with the world. The world was formed with words and thoughts, and it's words and thoughts that shape reality. And so you cannot shape anybody, you cannot influence anything if you're still dealing, you've not influenced yourself, you've not settled your own inner narrative. Well, right, even your employer, to get a job, you need to interview. You still use your word to describe yourself, to sell yourself for somebody else to buy into who you become, whether as an employee or an entrepreneur. Have you seen an employee that doesn't talk? They're not going far, right? Because you during the interview process, you can't just say, here's my resume, and say, give me job. And they will say, okay, we've received your resume. Oh yeah, come and talk. Tell us more. They will ask you questions. Life is always asking people questions. Who are you? What can you do? What are you bringing here? And then based on what you share, they'll say, do they like you? Do they trust you? Do they want to invite you into their own dimensions for you to be part of what they are building? That's it. That's it. That's the important side of life. I did take some notes, Miss Chisholm, when you were saying, when I say, good job. You talked about awareness. You talked about reactivity, how you react now. That's your chemistry. And then the other part is how you respond. How you react, how you take information in. The effect the information will have on your endocrine, your system, your emotions. You get a grip of that. That's trigger or not trigger. How you let it impact you. And if other people's incoming information goes into a direction of peace, you receive it with peace. The central nervous system, you reset it. You're calm. you're not agitated, fine. Now, when it comes inside you with peace, you receive it with peaceful energy, okay, that means you are in control of that interaction. When you now receive that information, you have to process it. You go take it through processing so that you decide how to respond. Before, it was automatic. Before you did this work and all the emotional healing workbooks, right? Before, the pre-program of the past will automatically react and respond based on the old programming. When you are waking spiritually and you reprogram yourself, the response becomes intentional. It's not automatic. You choose your response. You are not responding to today based on pre-programs of the past. You are responding today based on who you have become today. Remember inner child healing? Many people respond today based on the inner child conclusion of yesteryears. When a question comes in to their system, their central nervous system has the reactivity, automatic response, pre-programmed response from 20, 30 years ago, and it will give it to them. Unless and until, which is the work, you wake up, you assess your old inner self, you heal your inner child, and then you update it with a new pattern of responding, which you said, I put it down, you are holding people accountable. I put it down, Miss Chisholm. I put it the way you were saying, okay. You see, the new version of you is asking people, what are you doing? Why are you saying that? This is your stuff, it's not my stuff. But your inner child had to, right? You have to first heal your inner child, update before you just take it in, internalize, and you'll be like, you may be stewing inside. You know, who did this person think? I don't like what they did. You didn't talk. You didn't challenge them. You took it in, processing it is negative. But when you release that, you update that, you upgrade it. Now the person you are is you are answering life. Your grown self now. He's saying, that thing you said, explain yourself. That thing you said, I'm not accepting it. Before you used to accept and download automatically. Now you say, you're evaluating it outside of yourself. You're not internalizing it. You're not just automatically, you're like, wait a minute, before this thing comes into my system, let me first challenge it. Did you know what you were saying? No, I'm not accepting this. Go and deal with your stuff. And they are now like, whoa, you mean you are doing the tennis match? Before they will swing to you and they expect you to be taking everything. They were people being used as dumping ground for nonsense thoughts. Now you're like, you become a professional tennis player. You're like, take my own serve. And they're like, whoa, that was hot. Yes, I have updated my programming. Yes, I will swing. You swing it, I swing it. And when I swing, I will swing my force. Before, I won't swing. You'll be swinging. My ball, the side of the court is like all kinds of balls. People have been swinging to people for years, dumping all their stuff. Now you better learn how to play your own tennis match. Swing it back. They will deal with it. Use the word detaching, pre-programming, clarifying. That's the key, is that the way you want to respond to life today, you have the power to choose today how to respond to life today. If you don't choose, your inner child chose for you and continues to repeat insecurities when life is saying, ding dong, who's there? You don't want your inner child opening the door to your life. Make sure it's the grown self that the world will respect. That say, hello, yeah? Well, you may have known me for 40 years, but listen, I'm responding as this person now. You're dealing with this version of me. I'm no longer, I've taken care of my inner child, I've grown my inner reality. You have to deal with me, grown me, not that side. But you have to put that face to the world, and it takes courage. So when they say ding dong, hopefully they're not expecting a child in you to respond. When they know that a full-grown woman will respond, you know what they will do? They will check themselves, they will dress well. They will watch their words. They won't try that nonsense again. Okay. I just put that out there. Do you want to say anything to that, Ms. Chisholm? Okay. If not, or whenever you come back or return, I can see the picture there. Timothy, do you want to say something? Sorry?
Your example was amazing.
Yeah, the connection. So I don't. Did you change your Wi-Fi?
The tennis example.
The tennis example.
Yes, I did. I think this one just more strenuous than speaking. But your examples that are amazing. The tennis example is a point.
Yeah, because people,
Okay,
one person comes smart, everybody's smacking, and you're like, I mean, it's time to start playing the tennis match. Play the game of life. Let people know who you are. Yeah, go on, please.
Okay, so I do not know if you finished your trail of thought yesterday because you had to go. But that's where I'm going to continue from.
After 4 hours, I have to go. You still wanted more after. Go on.
Yeah, so before coming to that place, I can relate as well to what Chisom was saying. So when you have done clean up, everything starts bubbling to the top, and then money story starts to kick in, and you have to be aware and clean that up and give a new story because it cannot just be like usual. And when that is done, it's like it will still come and test again. Are you sure this is the way? What your conclusion is about life, about God, about producing wealth, and how your finances will roll in? And then you see this is it, and what you do, and it's being released out completely from the system. So that happened. Then coming to this place of being super, this one I can articulate what I'm about to say. So just as I said before, there's sometimes when you speak a thing, when it's landing on the body will shake as if it doesn't want to completely accept it. But now, when those particular words are being spoken, it lands with light and peace.
Mm-hmm.
There is no body reaction anymore, and it's making the body itself super, super, super light, as if it wants to be floating or be flying in the air.
Yeah.
So
let me give some perspective on that. I hope people understand what you were saying. He said that sometimes when certain words land, the body, let's just say, vibrates. And then said, I'm summarizing, it's not the exact words used, but I'm just paraphrasing so I can explain better. I want to make sure people understand. But now, words land with peace, all of that. I want to point out something. When you do the inner work, so there's cleanup. There's cleanup, removing what's no longer serving you, processing your thoughts and renouncing and rejecting and doing all that work based on specific things that is in your own context, that is personal to you. That's why I give those workbooks to assess your own inner stories. Yes. So there is cleanup. When you clean up, realize that you are making room. You are making room. When you make room, because it's like if you have file cabinets and you just deleted substances, that means you've made room. You see, something happens in the atmosphere. When you make room, your power grid goes up, and certain things may happen. Remember, we talk about magnetism. You may attract more of the same. It can move either way. But because what you are attracting, if it is new information that you've never encountered before, it means the body has not been programmed on how it should respond or react to that information. So your body wants attention. What do I do with this information? So it has to make noise. Remember, if you are hungry, if you don't attend to your hunger quickly, your body knows how to make noise, audible noise, to tell you, oh, okay, what's that noise? Hungry. The body makes noise. Please, I'm giving you practical now. You're hungry. You're supposed to eat. You didn't eat. Suddenly grow. It knows how it will do something to get your attention. Consciousness will go, oh, that you will now have to attend to your body. The body always needs your attention. And it always attempts to communicate with you based on what's going on. If you don't pay attention, your body will start showing you, will start making more noise. Part of a lot of when people talk about disease, the slower one is pay attention. It might be ache here, this here. Take care of your body. It didn't do this. It will raise another, it's right until you say, you know what? You take care of yourself. I'm just trying to say, when it vibrates like that, it wants your attention to say it's encountering information that it needs to know what to do. So in that moment, you ought to pay attention and deal with it. When you deal with it, the next time that kind of information comes in, your body already knows what to do. So it will not vibrate. It will just respond automatically. Your body, your body always responds consciously or subconsciously. If there is pre-programmed to address specific things, the mind and body will address what you have taught it how to address automatically. If new things happen that there's no pre-program, it will enter consciousness. It will challenge, your mind will, so the body can speak with vibration. The mind speaks with consciousness, with English language that you learned. When the mind speaks, it wants your spirit to see and read what is entering your system, or what is about to enter your system, and it is trying to gain your body to say, this is what's coming in, or this is what has come in, or this is what is going out, and it is showing you the spirit in the inner center of your reality, thoughts that are flying in, out, or playing inside you. It uses that staging area to attempt to show your spirit what wants to enter your body, your natural body, right? Things that came from the third dimension that wants to enter your soul, or things that wants to go into your body. Your mind uses a staging area to show you pictures of energies flying around you, in, through, out, right? And so it is your spiritual self that's supposed to be handling whatever your mind is showing you. But the mind can handle what you have told it to handle in the past. It won't even show you. Many things the mind doesn't show you. It is attending to automatically. But the ones that need your attention, that is inconsistent with who you become, the mind is constantly, it can show you through dreams, because the energy carrying information, it projects. It's like a projector. The movie that is inside, remember I've shared with you light carrying information, sound, just like fiber optic cables projecting on your screen. This technology is inside you. The energy that is coming or going carries information, picture, sound, and the movie it wants to produce. When your mind starts showing you movie, and the body will say, the body knows how to say, I don't want this movie. When the body says, I don't want this, it's not for me, your spirit is supposed to say, I agree. This is where resisting the enemy comes in. Submit your will under the will of God and resist the enemy. Is that when the enemy comes like a flood, like energies. Somebody has manufactured a story somewhere How you are this, you are that, you are that. And then the blast of their thoughts wants to, they know how to do GPS coordinates in the quantum. This person, the person's name, the person's computer zone, send the information, send. When that thing is trying to travel and come into your quantum, your if you have already been programmed with the word of God, let no man trouble me. If your body, not just your soul, not just your spirit, if you know the Bible, knowing is one thing, making sure you have made room for it. The word has become flesh. The frequency of God's word has been downloaded into your body. As you move around into this world, it is kicking it out automatically. It's not just knowing it spiritually. I'm saying if the word of God is living in your body, if thoughts come in, the word of God will be your defense system. Any word that comes in that your body doesn't have defense on, your mind picks it up and say, what say you? Somebody is sending you this memo. Remember, this is a technology God gave man to do good. People are abusing that technology. That's sin. They're transferring funky information. But if you're intuitive and prophetic, you can hear it. And then if you have the word of God, you can clear it. You can forgive them. You can delete it. That's your full-time job as a spiritual person. Because it wants to land and produce. This is the highest form of individuation. If you don't individuate, people who don't individuate, they can't take spiritual authority over their life. Because it's will for will, it's power for power, it's knowledge for knowledge at the ascended place. You cannot be moving around in this world thinking everybody loves you. In fact, some people who hug and kiss you, if they get angry with you, the stuff that is, that's the highest form of it. But I will start somewhere. Everybody needs to start somewhere. Only individuated people can command the spiritual world, can resist nonsense. Many people are not resisting, they are playing. They don't know how to handle thoughts that are not for them, that wants to use their vessel to produce a life that Jesus didn't write for you. Your internal business is to use the word of God to say no, yes, no, yes. And whoever is saying this, you must have authority to deal with it. If you don't have authority, if you don't have power, if you don't have knowledge, those things are planted while men slept. Okay. You see, I will walk, I will pull myself. I'll pull myself and then we'll calm down. If anybody wants me to go deep, you ask. You see, that's how I do my thing. I'll go, I'll come. Because I don't want to take anybody and drag anybody into a place. Sorry?
I said, Coach, please go deep.
Yeah, the deep place is part of individuation. The reason you need to be an individual that is free is so that you can negotiate in life based on your own desires, and so that other people's desires are not overriding, covering your own glory, covering your own destiny, because you are living in a spiritual world where people are always trying to use people, and the way they do it is projection, real assertions, and these things are real in the spiritual world. Literally, it's a message, it's a command message, it's a story of who other people will be to them, who they want you to be to them, how they want you to act for them. They've crafted a story that they will be this and this, and they also craft a story for other people and they send it to those people. And it is a commanding story when they use power and will and force to say this person will be this person will go, and they do it with so much intensity. Only individuated people can hear that message and say, who? Back out in the name of Jesus. You see? The fight, the spiritual dimension, to make sure there are no intruding thoughts that is in the way of your own journey. If you're not an individual, you can't do that. Because people are entangled and enmeshed. Why? Because they are already entangled in a story they did not construct. Somebody else constructed it. And they are vibrating in it. And their soul is attached. First, you must set yourself free from the stories other people wrote about you. The whole point of entanglement and enmeshment and this is that people are actors manifesting the defeats other people wrote and sent to them. The thoughts other people used to defeat them. That's what they're vibrating. That's entanglement. A script, a story that is not in your favor, that is not in your benefit, but somebody wants to be favored. Somebody wants to use you to produce their own desire. And you're telling me you will not deal with that business? Because they make people a subject, a spiritual subject that they can, listen, it's like swing anywhere. Spiritual babies. They use it to, in fact, they can do this. You know, the catapult. They swing people. And then people will be like, they don't know who they are. They can't think for themselves. They want something they can't produce. These are spiritual entanglements. But your spiritual self is the one to do all the work. If you want your life to be free, if you want your third dimension reality to produce something else that is from God. And there are different levels to it. There's entanglement where it's the body. There's entanglement where it's the soul. There's entanglement where the spirit has already been overruled. So there are grades. There's a simple one. Somebody just gave you a look. You know they don't like you. But they've not penetrated your soul. You look at them back. You move on. There's no exchange. There's no transaction. It's just a stranger on the streets. Or in your, they just did like this. You to them, I didn't see that. You moved on. They did not penetrate your body. They didn't penetrate your soul. But when you are in a deeper relationship, you know, I talked about soul ties, 7 types of soul ties, right? Your soul is open. They know your home address. They've entered your house before. You've smiled with them. They've hugged you. They have access to your heart. Guard your heart, for out of it produces the issues of your life. That one requires more work. Intimate relationships require more cleanup than a stranger that doesn't like you. They didn't do anything. But when you're in, the people that are supposed to love you that don't like you, good luck with that. Or you go to a church, the people that are supposed to protect you, create a spiritual atmosphere that is protective for you, they are taking people down energetically. They are angry and they are sending funky. That one requires another type of tool than somebody. People don't have to like you, but if you give access key to the people who don't like you or downright wants to rule you, they open the door to the enemy of your soul. And the business you have to do, you first clean up the enemy of God, and then you have to deal with them. But first of all, you have to demote them from the position of authority over your life. There's a lot of work. Okay. So that's, you see, I would say you asked for it. I gave you a little bit more. Okay, can we move on now? Can we move on now? Yes.
Coach, you can move on.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's move on. Okay, good. So let me go a little bit technical, professional now. I know you guys want to go deeper. I understand that. Very cool. Let me also bring you up if you want to. So let's go to the technical aspect of today's topic. I know already, those of you that already have your hands, you've already accessed the books, the workbooks, all of this inner work. Listen, you've already gained the language. You can already navigate this complexity, inner world complexity. You already gained the way to explain it. You perceive, you're already intuitive. You know there's more to this world than 5 senses. So that's already growth, that your awareness has been expanded, your spirit has been awakened, you are seeing and observing and experiencing dimensions of new realities, and you are developing the skills to handle those inner realities with You know, seriousness, professionalism, audacity, and kindness and generosity, and hopefully fun and laughter. But the movie is real. Yes? So I'm building on that. So I'm speaking to people who you've done a lot of work. I'm just adding on more tools for you to use. I'm just going deeper. So you already know individuation. I've talked about it. I've tried to explain it. I've talked about self-agency, independent thinker, this, that. I've talked. Today, one of the things I was saying, okay, is there another way I can even explain this thing that is so simple? To make it simple. And so the phrase I got within me was becoming a free individual. That one is simple enough. So we've come up with our own dictionary. This is not the dictionary out there, but this is mine. When I say individuation, I'm just saying the journey you will go on to become a free individual. Now, the question you ask is, what are you being free of or free from? What do you need to be free of? Why do you need to be free? Like, and then but you thought you are free, right? I want you to think in diverse ways. Hey, listen, she's dropping his systems. If there was a quiz, systems controlling. See, everybody's like, drop which one you think you need to be free from. Systems. We held sessions on escaping the matrix for months, right? And I cover different matrix that is already a world that exists before you, that you are stepping into, that you need to individuate out of. You need to also individuate from cultural identity, national identity. Nation have identities. Culture has identity. I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm black, I'm white, I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba, I'm Hausa. There are scripts on how Hausa should behave, Igbo should behave, Yoruba should behave, and the culture will demand. Yeah, come. Your culture is this. You must do this. This is how you talk to people in this culture. If you are older, you do this. Of this age, you do that. You treat parents this way, you treat children this way, you treat your elders this way. Scripts, cultural. How people behave or is expected to behave based on cultural script that was written before you were born. You are born into that culture, this culture will educate you on what is expected, and they will demand that you produce the behavior expected. They know how to enforce these things. It's not a matter of if this. So the question you need to be asking as an individual, you're supposed to be shifting and asking questions. Who is this cultural narrative favoring? Who does it favor? This is where you start seeing power orchestration, right? Is that the people who always script these cultural stories, they always script what will favor them. You need to understand human nature. Culture that did not descend from heaven, but descended from man. The men and the women that wrote that script, they will always write a script that protects them and favors them and produces a reality that makes them comfortable, that makes them not to be challenged, that makes them free to do anything they want to do without being questioned. So that you understand. And when you're dealing with, because individuation means you understand fully that culture, you will interact with it, but you will not let it take over your life. Some people are being ruled purely their entire life existence. They are standing. Their quantum is fully programmed by the cultural story. They are loyal, entrapped, entangled, fully dedicated to produce cultural stories. They are indoctrinated, marinated. They're the full ambassador, embodiment of the cultural story. Full. That's their life. They don't have any other life outside of culture. Culture produces them, and they're vibrating to the tune of. My culture said, and these people, right? Even in marriage. Our culture! Some people lose what God gave them simply because they stood by culture. They did not stand by. They didn't stand by love. See, these people different culture, but love and peace. They didn't defend love and peace. Culture would produce in their life whatever culture can produce. And some people will go down vibrating culture and lose what God gave them. What God gave them that they're supposed to handle with love and peace and patience and humility, they will go down saying, I'm this, I'm that. You must bow. Pride and arrogance goes before the fall of these people. That they don't know how to interrogate the programming they are carrying. If that programming is leading them to peace and joy, or it is leading them down a path that God did not ask them to go down. These people, they are producing movies that you'll be like, where did common sense go? People who enter marriage and culture says, man must do this, man is this. They didn't go and they didn't tell them, they didn't tell them about love and humility and how to lead. Right? But they are saying, bow to me, cook for me, do this. When they lord it over the woman gets tired. And she wakes up one day and says, I'm not doing it again. And this person is still trying to say, they want to break wing. When the woman says, are you living with a common sense person or a robot? When people say, you know what? Keep your culture. Keep your thoughts. Keep your beliefs that do not produce peace and joy and humility and appreciation. You start watching a new movie. You start see, so that people will understand that eventually there gets to be a point when somebody wakes up and say, come on. Where is this story? Who produced this story that is not with love, peace, patience, appreciation? Some people say culture. It's like a robot. It's like a robot. Where did this culture descend from that is producing this behavior? That's the example of people who don't individuate to become an individual, to even spiritually assess their behavior and see if their behavior is producing the life they want to produce, that God has for them. Some people would hide behind cultural stories and beliefs that doesn't present love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. They will stay with it. And some of them, in the name of whatever they are standing, because culture becomes the God leading their life, what they will do to other people. It's unbelievable. Some people can also stand based on identity. I'm white, you are black. So, does it mean you should now consider other people this or that? But there's a script written by their identity. If it's not a script written by God that says respect other people, honor other people, be at peace with other people, whatever that script, the vibration it produces inside you, only an individuated person that is on the path of peace and joy will assess what that belief is doing inside their soul and how it is making them behave to other people. Many people cannot exercise that executive functioning skill to think again about what you're thinking and ask yourself, does it even add up? But where did those stories descend from? Ancestors. Or people who go to church and they tell them, start praying funky prayer that God did not tell you to. In fact, in the Bible, God said you shouldn't pray that prayer. But when they enter an atmosphere that they have not individuated from, a religious atmosphere, the same atmosphere Jesus said, Sadducees, Pharisees, this. My house shall be a house of prayer. Some people kind of lose a part of themselves when they enter a pre-programmed atmosphere that is religious. And they are now telling you to become something Jesus didn't tell you to become. It's not written in the Bible. They're telling you to do things God didn't ask you to do. But how do you reckon? Only an individuated person can observe that and say and refuse to participate. Only somebody who has a relationship with the divine can assess the script pre-written by somebody else who will be favored by, yeah, show up here, show up here. If you don't show up here, show up here. If you don't show up here, that is vibrating low vibration, even in the house of God. Do this. If you really love God, you must show up 10,000 times here. Did God tell you that? Only an individuated person can look at all these funky scripts people are producing in religious centers and go say, what? You have to know your God. You have to have a relationship with God to compare what God is telling you with all this script. Because people who don't know the truth, they buy the lies and they produce it. You now find people say, oh, I did everything. I'm serving in the church. And they say they are not growing. You don't know the path to spiritual growth is time with God. But you're spending time producing scripted assignments. You invested all of your time. Well, whoever scripted it, let them reward you with spiritual power growth and let them build your life for you. You have to know who God is trying to make you to be enough to be able to resist things that may look on the surface. They always look right. They're well branded. But Bible says, test all spirits. By their fruits you shall know them. Bible tells you your discernment is important to traveling through reality peacefully. Your own discernment is important. If it smells funky, if it sounds funky, if it feels funky, it is funky. But some people are so entangled with funky realities, they are still excusing it because it is wolves in sheep's clothing that they are smiling with, hugging, and so they can't do the work. Because first you have to strip them of identity, you have to remove the mask to realize you're dealing with the wolf. But if you still put the mask on, people don't do this work. If they don't see things as they really are, not how they are being presented to be. They're different. Branding can present. See, people can put stuff inside a box and wrap it very, very well, and then mail it to people. The way out is to start processing your thoughts. Start with what's going on inside you. Because your system is designed to bring to your consciousness things that are in conflict with your spiritual identity. The next thing you need to do is to speak. You need to start speaking your truth, whether privately and eventually publicly, is the words. Your body is programmed by words. Whoever is speaking over you, whoever is sending you the most messages is the one occupying the body, is the one ruling. So you cannot be quiet. Pray over yourself and don't make this about other people. It's like the tennis match. Your side is what you can control. Right? You cannot drive their car for them. And as you are driving your car, you cannot blame other people for the way you're driving your car. As you are driving, somebody can say, you can say something, but yes, make sure you don't lose focus. So this game of life is to master yourself. That's all you need, all you have. And that's all that matters. And then the decisions you would make about how you present yourself, how you react, when other people present themselves, when you observe, and your response to life. You must get a grip of those things. The other one I want to really talk about today, and I see the 5 minutes one in here. When it closes, I'll open a new one. So The key message, if you want to know what to walk away with after everything I've said, great stuff, but this one is one of it. Do not carry other people's ego, because they will load you up with their insecurities. You become like them spiritually. Do not carry other people's ego. And what do I mean by that? All the inner stories that people have, you can categorize it as their secure and insecure side. Who they become when the doorbell of their insecurity, ding dong. Whenever they are emotionally, this is where emotional development matters to spiritual ascension, is that the emotional side of people is whenever you are shifted, when we say dysregulated, whenever you are shifted off your place of peace, calm, rest. Whenever there's a tree, a ding dong, you were watching the movie and somebody just rang the bell, ding dong, how you rise up and how you present yourself when you are interrupted, when you are engaged, that's on you. However, you've been pre-programmed to respond a certain way based on your ancestors, environment, thoughts, inner child, all this work, right? The 10 workbooks, right? Your response to life, when life ding-dongs you, right? Somebody's ringing the bell. How you rise up, what sides of you, the secure side, rises up when people show you love, or that's the side of us we present, and that loving side. I'm also saying if somebody rings ding dong and it's like, oh, I don't know. Well, executive function is how you determine. If you don't determine, and if you don't grow, and if you don't start processing your emotions, people don't have control. This is where self-control, and it's a lot of work. I'm teaching it, but I'm still saying I'm still practicing. It's a complete retraining of human functioning, DNA, gene pool. It's a lot. It's a command. That's why self-control is part of the fruit of the Spirit, because you can only produce this truly by the help of God, by the help of the Holy Spirit, because it's a spiritual exercise. It's a muscle to be developed, because you are living in a power. Your system is so powerful. The pre-programming has such a force that sometimes you've done things before you knew. It's so automatic, and you're watching the movie, and before you can say, oh, wait a minute, you know the words. Who can tame the tongue? You see, Bible tells you who can tame the tongue. Somebody says something, right? Well, there's grace. You can collect yourself. I always say this: 70 times 7 frequent flyer mile. Part of ascension is understanding the power of grace, how you deal with yourself. If you know how to give yourself grace and love and come back and pull yourself and recover and retool and renew and come back as if nothing happened, because Jesus' blood has washed it all, you will start growing so fast. But if you're somebody that still beats yourself like the horse, wait, why did you do? Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Be the most loving hands. Use the most loving hands to engage with yourself, and then you can do it with other people. Be forgiving to yourself. Okay? Because that's the only way you try again. And you're going to continue to try again and perfect and improve. That's the journey we are on. The practice of it. At least know what you are enrolling to practice that God wants to build, right? Fruits of the Spirit. Self-control is one of it. So when people are pressured, stressors and all of this life pressure, the tendency is that the insecure side will come. Yeah. So you getting a grip and a handle of your insecurities is one of the most powerful things you can ever do, because the enemy rides on that. In the insecure side is where you're going to see all of these stories